Shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash, double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect doing the work in sincerity and in truth. I want to say Shalawam. This is GMS Precepts. There's our Chud here, and here we go. You can see it in the title. I got a few articles here, and yeah, the black women are, the black women. Now, when I say the black women, I mean, you can include the other nations, other tribes also, like the Latino woman, um, and the Native American woman, right? But as the scriptures say, Judah is the head tribe, right? So all nations want to be like the the Judite man, right? They want to emulate him. They want to be like him. They're very influential, and you could say the same for, well, you used to be able to say the same for the black woman, right? But they have just fallen so far. Like right now, it's each year or every event or a new stat that comes out, you think, man, it can't get any worse as far as the black woman being undesirable. It happens. It gets worse. You know, it gets worse. Now, I don't know how many uh, women watch my show, but a hit dog a holler. If you're, now I'll say this, um, you're gonna have levels, like you're gonna have levels of wickedness, right? Otherwise, I'm not gonna sit here and say that 1,000% of all black women are level 10 wickedness, right? Um, because that just goes. I mean, that's the Most High always deals. He deals with balance, and that would just be a major imbalance, right? So you might have a black woman, so-called black woman, that might be a level 6 or 5 wicked, Then you have some that are level 9 and 10, So I'm not gonna sit here and say all women are, 1,000% all of them, every single one that breathes is a demon, or a level 10 demon. I'll say that, but it's a majority, y'all, man. It's looking bad. It's looking real bad. It's looking real bad, and it makes sense, right? Because, and I'll go into these few articles and scriptures that I have. It makes sense, right? Because um, the black woman, so-called black woman, as well as the Latino and Native American woman, but primarily the black women, they don't want to submit to us in the least, in the least, right? They've got an issue with submission. They're just very disobedient. They're very aggressive, and they just want nothing to do with us, right? We don't have women, but if you think about it like this, it'll make a little sense. We did the same thing to the Most High. We were disobedient. We weren't subservient. We didn't want to follow Him. So the Most High, Yahawashi, Yahawashi said, you know what? Okay, you're right, because Jeremiah 6, it tells you, what is it? Let me get it. Is it Jeremiah 6? You got Corinthians also. It compares Israel to a woman. Jeremiah 6, I think it's 6. See? Jeremiah 6 and 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. That's us. That's the nation of Israel. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Right? So the Most High looked at us and say, okay, you're supposed to be my woman, and you don't want to follow me. You want to worship all these other gods and deities and follow these other nations. Okay, I'm good. I'm going to do the same thing to your woman. Your woman is not going to want to follow you either. Right? So it's right. It's fitting. Right? Um, it's warranted. It's understandable. Right? So, but damn. But anyway, let me go into these articles. Right? So as you can see, I'll leave all these in the description. The journal. I just googled What I Google? It's right here. Are the rates of single black women on the rise? And they gave me a bunch of articles here. Um, and look, it says black women are the most likely group to be single parents. You know, single parents, man. And I remember I did a show, and this is a census. And I remember I did a show not too long ago on Lyndon B. Johnson, how he introduced um, food stamps and basically government assistance. It was he introduced that, right? You can make an argument very easily that he introduced it specifically for black people, so-called black people, right? You can make an easy argument that was worse. That was worse. Like that made our situation worse than it was before because back then there were at least you had the family structure still together, you know. Um. Anyway, let me look at this. It says the black women are the most likely group to be single parent household. Now, if you look at the numbers, we know that single parent households, and when it says single parent households, that means that the mother, right? Because in the court system, they're gonna give the parents to, they're gonna give the kids to the mother over the father, unless the mother shows an inability to be able to take care of her own children, which is hard to do. It's not easy to do, you know. Um, and when they grow up in a single parent household led by women, they're more subjected to, or they're more likely to do bad in school, have teen pregnancy, be in jail, commit a crime, average lower income, all that. It's way worse. And it's funny. The same stat. There's a similar stat done by the same group that says if a child is raised by the father, it's the those numbers are all better. It's the same. It's the same as that child getting raised by a two-parent household. You see, um, why? Because a father or a man is their role in the household is discipline, right? So that shows, you know, and their role in the mother's role is, it's emotions and nurturing. You know, the mother is supposed to be the nurturer, the father is supposed to be the disciplinarian. So it's a good balance there, right? But it shows you that it's better to have discipline and no emotional, um, I don't know, education or emotional side than it is to just have an emotional side with no discipline, you know? But, right, so that's us. The black women are the most likely to be single parents, and we know the result of that. That's why you got these nigglets, these, they call them YNs or whatever, running around here acting crazy. But you can attribute that to the curses, and I have that also in Deuteronomy 28. Um, Look at this, another article, blackenterprise.com, 30% of single black women homeowners, and what? They live alone. They live alone, right? The analysis released last, and this is from 2023. It says an analysis released last week shows that 37% of black women who are single and live alone owned a home in 2021. And why? Because they prioritize family. They they prioritize themselves over a family, over a man, over children if they have it. And we're the highest rates of where we have a high rate of divorce, man. Right? I wrote it down here. The stat says black women the or uh their marriage between black men and a black woman dropped 27%, or dropped to 27%, while in whites is 50% marriage. Yeah, so it's not good, man. It's not. So but so my point is what, that the Most High, and this is done by the Most High, man. Right? We understand it's the curses, but this is being done by the Most High. I know my brother likes to say this a lot. Um, the black women are really, really being exposed, man. Really being exposed right now for um, who they are. You know, just a big embarrassment, man. Just a big embarrassment. Like you got the uh, a statue that was created of a black woman. She's overweight. She's got a hand on her hip, and she's just looking with a fucking attitude. That's embarrassing, man. This is how Esau thinks of you, man. As a black woman, y'all should be upset about that. You know, um, just like if you turn on the news, it's just like it's always something, man. That the latest thing now is the thing with Meg The Stallion. She had gotten a dude that she was dealing with, who was another rapper, which he was probably just smashing. He got him locked up on false allegations for 10 years for a shooting that never happened. So now all the evidence is coming out. She's looking bad, right? So it's like you put the news on, man. It's always something about the black woman, how they just looking bad and more undesirable. Black women are the most educated in the group. Blah blah blah. Yeah, most educated and most single. Why? Because they want to prioritize themselves. They want to prioritize, and this is what happens, right? Um, when you, which Esau knew all this. This is what happens when you give a woman too much liberty. You know, her job is supposed to be a caretaker and a nurturer, right? So let me go into Deuteronomy 28 and 56, going into the curses, right? So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 56. It says a tender and delicate one, right? Because remember, I said this goes back to the curses. You know, this dissension between the man and the woman, the Israelite man and the Israelite woman. It says the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Could you imagine that? It says the tender and delicate woman. Could you imagine a so-called black woman tender and delicate? Could you imagine a so-called uh, uh, Dominican woman tender and delicate? They got some mouths on them, man. Right, and that goes for all the tribes, man. Right? It says would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for her delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. Right? It says, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for the want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee at the gates. You know what? Let me see what it says in the NET. Right? This is Deuteronomy 20 and 56 in the NET. Let's see what it says. Right? So it says likewise the most tender and delicate of your women who would never think of putting even the sole of her foot on the ground because of her daintiness. Damn. Daintiness. Right? What is daintiness? Let me look up daintiness. Dainty. If that's how you spell it. Maybe daintiness. I spelled it wrong. Dainty. There we go. Dainty of delicate beauty, pleasing to the taste, and often temptingly served, and delicate, scrumptious, mouthful, delicate, a tender, a delicate discrimination, overly particular. Okay, something delicious. Okay, dainty, daintiness. Let's go back. Yeah, man. So the black woman was dainty, man, because of her daintiness, right? Because of her beauty, right? Will turn against her beloved husband, her sons and daughters. I mean, come on, tell me that ain't happened. And this is how you know this ain't talking about the 1948ers. You know, their divorce rates aren't high as it is with us. You know, their marriage rates aren't super low like us. Their abortion rates aren't high like us. It says, will turn against her beloved husband, her sons and daughters, and will secretly eat her afterbirth in her newborn children. Since she has nothing else, damn, will secretly eat her afterbirth in her newborn children, right? Damn, that sounds like abortion, right? And they lead an abortion. Um, It says, because of the severity of the siege by which your enemy will constrict you in your villages, right? Right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, we all know it's because of the curses that the Most High put upon us. But who's doing it? It's these. Um, Esau. Esau is allowing the so-called black woman, Native American woman, Latino woman to just do all these things, man. Because of the severity of the siege by which your enemy will constrict you. Right? Last what did it say? Last hired, first fired. Right? Uh, we take up a high percentage of jails of people in jail. A lot of them on trumped up charges. Right? So it's like, you know, this is it, man. This is hell for our people. Right? So I got one more. This is Micah 7:10. It says, Micah 7:10, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, right? And that's speaking about um, the woman. Our woman is our enemy, man. The woman on this side is our enemy, right? They're not going to be right until we get into the kingdom, right? Like I said, you might have some that aren't as wicked as others, but for the most part, our women aren't with us, especially the Judite woman. Right? It says, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as a mire in the streets. And y'all really getting exposed. Now you got a situation where it's gonna be affecting now all them, like I mentioned before, those governmental goodies that they've gotten from Esau that started with Lyndon B. Johnson. All those things are gonna start to go away, right? Because I think Trump, he's doing the thing with the bill that passed is, if you're on Medicaid, I forgot which one it is. I always get them confused. If you're on Medicaid or Medicare or Medicaid, you have to work 20 hours a week in order to continue to get it, or else you're gonna lose your food stamps. You know, if you're of age, I believe if you're if you're on food stamps or some assistance, um, you gotta work, I believe, 80 hours a month or something, or something to that effect. But yo, Black woman is really gonna start feeling it now, man. Now she shall be trodden down as a mire in the streets, right? All right, so that's pretty much it. I'll leave, like I said, I'll leave these articles in the description. Lord willing, you brothers and sisters were edified. Till the next show, shalom.